All right, so I guess I'm live here on you. It's been a while, and I was considering a garden tour. However, and leaves all over it, and considering it's is it solstice or equinox? I think the equinox, but seasons are changing, and we should all be very busy, especially since there's a lot of us that are considering possible rapture event on the 23rd/24th. So, who's got that kind of time? My editor's not working, so if you wanna, I'll just kind of like tell you about what's happened and just briefly check in. So, um, of course, Bunny's good. That's cucumber in a bowl. Yeah. So just right from here, chilling. Um, what do I think about the Rapture event? Um, I don't know. Everybody's talking about it. And the biggest point I seen brought up was that they say that the Feast of Trumpets, they say literally concerning that, there is a saying that no man knows the hour or something. Anyway, I've got so much going on. I've just been enjoying doing that instead of trying to make videos. Uh, because you get a lot more done and you can enjoy it instead of trying to like document it as you do it with a camera or something. In terms of what's happened in the garden, um, all right, I've been planting things since basically St. Patty's Day. Whenever St. Patty's Day comes around and that thaw starts hitting, I just start planting things. And I've been planting like Three Sisters type stuff. You know, it's been instead of squash necessarily, but pumpkins, corn, and beans. Um, I've been planting celosia, forest fire, variety, um, cucumbers, moonflowers, onions, garlic. Garlic's got to go back in soon, October. Uh, and what happened was the varmint, chipmunks and squirrels went like nuts on a lot of my stuff. Generally onions and garlic, and I planted my onions from seed, and they did really good. I'll show them to you maybe after the rapture. Um, but generally things leave those alone. So I had my best garlic harvest ever, even though the soil was not uh, loose very much. It was very compact and rocky. So I started added for the first time this season, adding like stuff that will break down, like wood shavings type stuff, so the soil will get better. Um, those got to get planted back in October coming up. It was interesting because it was a California softneck variety, and they actually ended up growing like hard neck, some of them with bulbils. the little things at the top. Uh, so it was like I researched about it, like what happened. They say maybe your plants were stressed out or whatever, but welcome. Um, Maybe your plants were stressed out or whatever, but sometimes the soft neck garlic can develop into hard neck. So that happened. My row is taking over the whole perimeter now. Same with the onions. The onions I planted from seed. I expect them to be perennial, just like the three that survived last season. Um, that's garlic and onions. Did really good. I'll show them to you maybe after the rapture. Uh, then we got the celosia, forest fire celosia. Is edible, very beautiful flower. I have 3 patches of it now instead of just one and then two. My third patch is actually the most successful. I've learned that you have to sow those seeds a little later in the season. Um, just take most of your time through Mother's and Day and just weed and weed and weed that bed because their seeds and seedlings are very small at first. Once they get going, they're very rugged plants, extremely easy to clone and get to grow roots from cuttings. Um, you can. I've even had success like taking them like once the little branch was almost a pencil width, sticking it right in the ground where they were in the somewhat good soil and watering it once a day, and it took root. They also put out suckers like tomatoes and pop those out. They'll grow roots. So let me have a second. Oh, anyway, they'll grow roots. They're also called wallflower. Um, and it's interesting because I had a bunch of mutations in the plant. So I have like they all come from the same seed source. And it'll be the same line, same variation line, forest fire, celosia, tiny little seeds. Wait till like Father's Day to plant them. Like spend all through like Mother's Day, like just weeding the soil bed, weeding the hell out of it, and then you plant them. That's the type of weather they do best in. If you plant them too early, you won't have much success. But yeah, mutations. I'm growing for the flower to be like the flame structure instead of like the more of a pointy structure or the coral structure. But I have once in a while I have the coral structure show up. Um, then I'll have color variations. Like forest fire celosia typically has um, like reddish leaves and a reddish flower. And then there's like a there's like it tends to be like a pink, like a dark purple base to the flower, and then the red forms outside of it. And some of them are like these big bushy flames, and that's what I'm growing for. Instead of the pointy, like sparse looking flames. Um, there's so that you got the flames that are kind of like pointy and sparse looking. What's up, buddy? How are you? Don't feel bad. Raccoons ate my corn too. And I was just talking about like my garden a little bit and just checking in with everybody. Glad to see you're doing good. Um, but I was just talking about my celosia plants and saying how like maybe after the rapture, supposed maybe, um, I'll do like a garden tour video. So I had mutations growing the celosia, not only with the coral instead of the flame shaped head, it's like a coral shaped head. I got the flames that are big and bushy, which I prefer, and I got the flames which are kind of like spiky, sparse looking. So I'm going to continue breeding for the bushy flowers. But the mutations that are interesting are the coral heads and the uh, different colors. So usually the celosia has the dark red leaves and the bright red flowers with a dark purple base. Sometimes the flowers stay like the purplish color, which I'm not into. I really want it to go more for the reddish, hot, flame, fiery looking colors. So I won't be keeping seeds from the way. Then sometimes you get plants that have greenish leaves instead of reddish leaves. They may have the red flower. They may have the dark purplish flower. They may have a yellow flower. There's this one that comes up every once in a while, and sometimes I think to save it because it has not only yellow flower, but it has yellow stems instead of red stems. So I might keep some of them around and try and like clone them. Um, I've got one really interesting that came up. It's got red leaves and stems, but it's got like a almost a yellowish flower with like red tips to it. That I'm gonna try and save. It's really unique looking. I think I'll call it like forest glow or something like that. I don't know. Um, yeah, I've got these grow towers, and I just basically they say you should top those plants, cut the tip off them, and then it's like pruning them, and they grow bushier instead of like a straight tip thing. Um, and it's true. If the plant branches out, it's good for the development of the plant. But I kept all those tips that I cut off instead of like throwing them away. Um, I kept them and I rooted them because that's how I found out they rooted so easy. Um, so I've got and the leaves they taste like spinach. Um, only they're more durable than spinach. They have a longer shelf life than spinach. I would say they almost taste better than spinach. Like it's like the best spinach you've ever tasted. So yes, celosia is edible. It clones easy. It grows easy once it's established. Just plant it later in the season. Um, let's see. That's and I guess I would show you that stuff maybe after the rapture. Anybody have any thoughts about the rapture? This will probably be my last video before the rapture. Like I said, maybe afterward, do a garden tour. Otherwise, this would just be the last thing that people can watch and hear about what happened. Um, Slosha. Oh yeah. So real quick on the herbs, because people know I did the 12. Yeah, the 23rd to the slash 24th. They're saying. So have good days, good nights. Me personally, like I don't really, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily biblical. I know a lot of events happen. Like some people say, the solution is to tie yourself to a tree. Anyway, um, oh yeah, the herbs. So I found that once I did that 12 culinary herbs. Like you think of the 12 top culinary herbs. That's what I grow. That's what I sell for seed when I do. That's what some people bought for me, and they've grown them, which is really cool. Thank you. Um, but once you have the um, sage growing in your yard, it becomes like this rugged plant that stays perennial, and its leaves will turn like really dark and look totally like messed up and dead, and you'll think to maybe I should cut them, but sometimes they just come back to life, like in after the winter. So number one most durable culinary herb is definitely the sage. I hope I said that was sage. Sage. Um, I got enough sage in my yard right now to smudge the neighborhood, maybe even the county. God knows it needs it. Um, Now the easiest ones to grow, which like the seeds will stay good for a long time, would be the cilantro and the dill. Those seeds stay good for like 10 years sometimes. I tested it, and um, they grow really good. And then they go to seed and get more seeds. Um, so yeah, I can say that about the herbs right now. Okay, back to the Three Sisters. Corn, beans, and squash, but I grew pumpkins instead of squash. I said I've been seeding things since St. Patrick's Day, which is too early, but I've been out there doing it anyway. I'm gonna probably wait for Mother's Day and then do a second round on Father's Day in next season. Those are like the two. It's like I think that if I get an itch to like start things early inside or something, probably start playing with that more or less around St. Patty's time, do a whole bunch of weeding, but then save the actual direct seeding in the yard for Mother's Day, and then do another round around Father's Day, probably for the last round. And anything in between, of course. Um, but just because there's a rhythm to these things, and that's zone five, if anybody needs to know. Um, so the varmint went nuts on my stuff. I planted this really made me like start to kill the varmint, which would be chipmunks and squirrels. I planted 2.5 quarts of glass gem corn. And if anybody knows how much glass gem corn sells for on the market, that's worth a lot of money. And I was throwing it all over the yard, like, because it's like grass. It's basically dinosaur grass. Corn is that. That's how the way corn grows. It's such a it grows like grass, but like huge dinosaur grass. Like, so I'm just throwing it everywhere, and expecting, like, I was gonna have the corn as ample as like a field of corn densely packed like grass. But the varmint came and ate it. Um, so I learned some tricks. Not only to kill the varmint, and yes, some of that did actually live, but they got over 95% of it. Um, Devastating garden situation. So I like doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on it. I ordered some more. It was only like 4 ounces or something maybe, so a lot less than 2 quarts. Um, and what I did was I planted the corn in different scenarios, different places. I planted it in like I planted it denser together. I planted it deeper. I went like 6 inches deep instead of um, you know, an inch or so. I planted that corn 6 inches deep because I know glass gem corn puts up multiple roots of crowns. As you go up the nodes, that thing will be growing roots a couple nodes up from the ground. So I planted it deeper. I planted it denser. I even planted one mound of it, which I had the full intentions of transplanting, and did transplant it, and had success transplanting it. And right now it's growing ears, and it's got those things coming out for fertilizing. Um, I planted them in different places, and what really deterred them was cinnamon powder, sprinkled real heavy on it. Not, I mean, heavy enough so you could see it. Uh, it's it stings their mouth, and they don't like the smell, and maybe the smell even overpowers the smell of the corn kernel, so the varmint don't come and dig it up. And I found that this works for a lot of stuff. You have a lot of seeds that they may come for because they came from my pumpkin. Um, so I had to use the cinnamon powder for the pumpkins. Um, I got a huge, like a gallon size thing of it. Maybe it's a pound of it off of eBay. My mom bought it for me. It's pretty cool. Uh, yeah. And then you encourage to kill them. And you can bait them or trap them, deter them. Don't plan on solely deterring them because they're not gone till they're gone, and they're varmint for a reason. So's the corn, and um the pumpkins are next. So the pumpkins, no, the beans are next. The beans, turkey gizzard, pole beans. Um, Varmint absolutely love them. I think the deer might love them. Everything kept eating them and eating them and eating them. Kept them short to the ground. But whenever, I guess once they get to a certain age, and this happens somewhat with the celosia too, both plants, once they get to a certain age, they're less appealing to the varmint to eat them that way. So they started to thrive after the varmint stopped bothering them, which I could have used cinnamon powder or whatever, or I killed them for whatever reason. Once the plants got a break from the varmints eating them down, the the turkey gizzard beans and the celosia, they thrive. And the corn did that to a certain extent too, because the deer would eat the corn once it sprouted. If the rodents didn't dig it up, uh, but that grew back too, like a grass. Really interesting. So sometimes if your plants get eaten down, don't give up on them. Just leave them there. They might bounce back. And the beans bounced back really good. They grew very long and grew beans and like I said, everything. They're such delicious beans. This variety that they appeal are everything. Everything appeals to everything. The deer, the varmint, like um, so delicious. My thing is, I'm just gonna try at this point to. I like to let them go until they're just dried out, sitting on the vine, and then go and collect them. A lot of things have even been eating the beans, but I'm hoping to at least collect as many beans as I planted. That would be a nice thing because I planted them everywhere. I think they got pretty. What did survive, thrive eventually. So that brings us to pumpkins. I planted pumpkins everywhere too. Uh, been planting them since St. Patty's Day, and things just been digging them up. Like I said, and then I found out the cinnamon trick, and that works better. Um, but I've got them in different places all over the yard. I also did a growing things in the ditch by the road experiment where I planted pumpkins, beans, and corn, and that grew too. Same problem, probably more exposure to varmint and deer because it's off the beaten trail. But yeah, it grew not as much as I planted, and there are reasons for that. Like it would get trampled by deer, it would be eaten a lot, and also like it's very rocky in the ditch. So if you grow things higher up on on the hill part of the ditch, they get drier and maybe hit by more sun, hotter, because there's not like a lot of bio soft absorbent type material. It's very rocky. Um, so lower down where there's more moisture and more soil type stuff mixed in with the gravel, uh, grew better, much better. But yeah, you can grow food in the ditch. We should grow food in the ditch. We have a problem here in America. I don't even think it's America anymore. Like, we, God, we need like another Atlantis. Any, there's too much drama in America. America's drama. Um, so yeah, Atlantis. If you know, you know. Oh no, I'm sorry. Like, I know. I think my microphone might be messed up. um, welcome. So yeah, we should grow food in the ditch, and we can. It just takes a little technique. You got to mix up the lower parts into the higher parts of the ditch, so your gravel becomes more soilish. And make sure the deer don't trample it all. Uh, control the varmint. You really can't have a good garden if you let chipmunks and mice and squirrels and all this all over the place. They're just totally like kamikazes with your food. And I would say the same thing with raccoons, especially when it comes to corn. They don't even eat it. They just come and tear it up every night, rip it up and throw it on the ground before it really gets developed. Um, and there's only one solution to that, and it's pretty much final. So the varmint, yep. Corned beef squash, yep. What else did I grow? Tomatoes. Um, I've been growing the honey drop tomatoes, and I must be eating them before they're too ripe, before they're ripe enough to experience the whole honey drop sweetness sensation. I mean, they're pretty good, but in my experience growing and I grow cherry tomatoes for the record. I don't grow the big tomatoes like the beefsteak because I mean it's so much easier just to grow the cherry tomatoes, especially when once one thing bites your beefsteak tomato, it's all messed up. Or you got like a whole like 10 cherry tomatoes to one beefsteak tomato. If something bites one of your cherry tomatoes, the rest, you got the rest of them. Uh, I don't. So yeah, I mean I don't have the conditions where I can grow these big pristine large tomatoes. Oh yeah, yeah. Did you make some sauce with those Romas? Yeah, like I direct seed my tomatoes too. I just let them come up when they come up. That's pretty cool. I have some Roma seeds, and tomato seeds store like a long time, like 10 plus years. Oh, you ate them raw? They were so good. Just went at them. That's cool. Yeah, they're like a meaty tomato if I remember rightly. Um, yes, I've been growing these. They're supposed to be like a selection from a hybrid that has become open pollinated, which is supposed to be as sweet as the hybrids, if not sweeter. I never got it to that point, and for the record, like the black cherry tomatoes are one of the most sweetest, and the white cherry tomatoes. Is it white cherry? No, it was white cherry. They're one of the sweetest I've ever had. The white cherry tomatoes. Um, just the way they are, open pollinated. So yeah, I keep working on them. The plants are doing good. They got lots of green tomatoes, but I guess everybody had a problem with the tomatoes not ripening this year, and it continues. If you bring them inside, they'll ripen, but there's something about the environmental conditions, maybe the sun, too much sun or something, which caused the tomatoes not to ripen. So just bring them in; they'll ripen eventually. So that's my tomatoes. My potatoes have become perennial. I planted many times either scraps from potatoes or whole potatoes or cut in half potatoes, just casually out in the back part of the yard. I've got this huge Hugel culture which runs all the way across. I just keep, I started with like sticks and branches and logs, and then I kept adding like more biomaterial to it, like wood shavings, leaves, whatever, just and they become these like really nice, like long plant growing beds across my yard. Perennial potatoes in them, golden. They're the yellow slash golden variety. I guess they're the same. I don't know if they're the same. Yellow potatoes, perennial. They come up on their own. They grow these big potato bushes in places. They grow flowers and little fruits, little white flowers. Uh, my grapes, I did nothing but completely neglect them. One variety, Somerset, grew more vigorously and produced fruit, which the deer promptly ate. Uh, the fruit I have had from them hasn't been as good as I expected it would be. Then I've got Himrod, green ones. The vines did not grow as good, and they did not even attempt to produce fruit this season. Um, like I didn't water them a single time. The deer ate the leaves, the branches, the uh, little grapes. I did nothing with the grapes at all. So hopefully they're just growing nice roots under there. Just put all their energy toward the roots. Um, what else? The deer ate all my apples except for the ones that were high up, and they had some kind of weird bumpy looking situation. Um, hmm, I don't know. There's probably some other stuff. Oh yeah, yes. Some people are probably gonna want to know what happened. Two situations for two of my viewers. If you get this far in the video, um, I got um Summer's daughter, I think her name. I just want to say I'm sorry. Like I never gave you any review as to the taste testing with your recipes you sent me. I didn't get to try them. I had arrangements to go to a kitchen. It didn't work out. Um, So I lost the squash that I grew, the pumpkin I brought over there. I never taste tested any of it because when I finally got access to a kitchen, like it just didn't work out. I got to set up my own kitchen apparently. So I'm still gonna try your recipes. Thank you for sending them to me. January's daughter. Um, it just didn't work out last year. I didn't grow those same varieties this year. I do grew two types of regular pumpkins. I didn't grow, well, I did plant some of the pie pumpkins. We'll see if they come up. But I didn't grow the squash. I'm very much looking forward to your recipes. Someday, I'll let you know. And then we got, rather not say, the aloe. I'm sorry, the aloe was doing so good. Um, so good. I had some from you, I had some from my mom. The aloe was growing so good. And then last winter hit, and um, the conditions and the way I was heating the place was uh I don't know if like they got dark, they got cold, they got too hot because I was burning candles like right in like the tanks adjacent to them. I don't know if the roots got hot one night, too hot, they got dried out. The winter was very extreme last year for me in my situation. It sucked. I'm still here and this winter is going to be much better. I've learned from a lot of mistakes that were made last winter and adjusted. So, unfortunately, all the aloe is gone. Even if it was aloe that was once anointing the very body of Jesus Christ, is gone. I'm just not going to grow any more aloe. I'm sorry that happened. Um, I killed all the aloe. My fault. I'm not going to grow aloe anymore. Sorry. And thank you. Um, that said, I really enjoyed uh, those pecans. Those pecans, all the other. I like uh, plant nuts like walnuts and pecans and even peanuts, basic peanuts. They're good. Chestnuts, roasted chestnuts, seasoned properly. Oh my god! If I could grow those, if I could grow pecans, so maybe someday I'll end up planting some nut trees out here, either by seed or by a transplant I got somewhere. I can see that happening. So that really like made me know if I could grow pecans, I would. I'll have to find out variety that company gets their seed from. 'Cause those are some good pecans. Um, the variety makes a difference. So that was a little learning experience. Thank you. And I continue, like I said, I continue to grow those tomatoes. But in my experience, they're not quite as sweet and amazing as some people make them appear to be when they grow them. Could be me. Could be me not waiting long enough too. So there's that. Oh, of course, my cannabis plants inside, which are way more rugged than aloe, by the way. I killed them too. I killed them too. Since the conditions weren't right with the light, temperature. etc. And I I killed them too, and that hurt too, because those were some nice plants, and I had them around a few seasons at that point. But I saved some seed from some herb I got, and I kept planting the saved seed until I got four little plants growing. So we'll keep trying. You know, you just got to keep trying agriculture. Learn the rhythm of the seasons and the temperatures, what to do, in what month works best, and what the little details to growing the particular plants are. I said maybe in a few days I'll get this place weeded and all, and I'll give you an update from the garden. You can see everything that I talked about. Thank y'all who stopped in. Um, and I hope you all got something growing on. We'll see what happens next few days. Hopefully you're just busy enjoying it. All right, take care, y'all. Figure out how to stop this joint now. You too. Thank you.